Get well, old friend, old pal, even though we've had our differences, even though I resented John Holmes for the early years we were together in college. You know, the problem, John Holmes, everybody says, yeah, Mr. 14, what a great life he's had. He's actually had a horrible life, John Holmes. I remember one time we were at a cocktail party, and it never fails. Whenever he'd go to a party, somebody would have one of his films on TV. How would you feel if every time you went to a party, no matter where you went, there you are naked on somebody's television set? That's number one. He never liked that. People thought they were doing him a favor. Oh, John, tell me, is Marilyn Chambers really that way? Sure enough, he'd have to answer the same questions over and over. And then it would never fail. As the party went on, in about 11 o'clock, when people got half in the bag, sooner or later somebody would say, attention, everyone. What do you say we see that bad boy? John, do you mind? And he'd say, well, I feel kind of embarrassed. And then somebody would say something crazy. Embarrassed? I mean, my God, you're in 100 movies. We just saw you all night long on TV. What do you say, everybody? And they'd clink glasses for silence. Everybody, what do you say? John, do we dare see that bad boy? Can you imagine that, being at a party where people were constantly asking you to drop trow? And John was a nice guy. And eventually, he'd get angry. And he'd say, all right, if that's what you want, stand back. I shall unleash the power. I shall unleash what God hath created. I'd say, John, don't give in to these people. He'd say, shut up. And he'd push me back against the wall. He'd drop trowel and stare at that bad boy, even at ease. It had more diameter than the average man. And then slowly, it would begin to rise as the guests would stare in shocked amazement. It seemed like it would never stop. It would keep going and going. Sweat would appear on John Holmes' brow as he grew and grew to a dance containing massive fuel pods swaying underneath. And still, people would have to get out of the way, making room until finally, look out! It burst its way through the window and still kept on going. Nobody said a word as he grew and grew until finally, reaching way out, seagulls started landing on it. They were swooping and diving and using it for a perch. And still, onward it went, onward and upward, until finally it achieved gargantuan status, unlike anything known to man. As John stood there proudly with his hands on his hips, he'd keel over. I'd run to his side, open his collar, and start compressing his chest. Everybody'd scream, what happened? What happened? I'd say, you see that, you fools? You fools! Help me! He's lost blood to the brain!
The Greaseman.